all. I love circle skirts. There's no feeling quite like the way the material flutters around as you spin. But if you have ever had to hem a curved seam, you know how much of a nightmare that can be. But I like to cheat. I use tablecloths. This one came from a thrift store, was $3.99, and it's already hemmed. I've seen people do a few different things to figure out how big where to cut, but that's not what I do. So let me show you how I make my circle skirts. Normally, how I would do this, I have this folded in 8s. So I take my hip measurement, divide it by 8. That gives me 5.4 inches. Figure out where does 5.4 inches intersect. Oh, like right along that green line pretty much would work. So I would normally just cut that off there. Now that does not give you a nice pretty circle. So I went searching for an answer. Whitney Sews' video talks about how to calculate the radius, but she does it not on an 1/8, on a 1/4. So what she said was to take my hip measurement, divide it by 6.28, because that's 2 times pi, and that will give me the radius for what I need to cut. And that was 7 inches. So if I mark all the way around from this point at 7 inches, hi, that should give me where I need to cut. And yes, I'm using a pen on the right side of my fabric. I'm insane. We knew this. This is where I'm going to cut. Well, what I've cut out is an actual circle. That's very encouraging. Now, normally what I would do with this would be to just take the edge, fold it under, to stitch along there to create a casing, and put an elastic through it. Again, we're trying something different. I'm going to put a waistband on this, assuming I can find a bit of fabric in my stash that complements this material. So I'm going to take my swatch of material now and see what I can find that might work with it. Well, I did better than I thought I would in terms of finding something that works reasonably well. Yes, the material has a pattern on it, but I don't think I'm going to find anything in my stash that is anywhere near as close as that. Whitney recommended using 2-inch elastic. I don't have 2-inch elastic, so we're going to use this. It says it's non-roll. Hopefully that will work. I figured out how wide my waistband needs to be. Measured it, cut it out. Now it's time to put the elastic in it and sew it. Unfortunately, the next time that you will see me, it will be at the sewing machine where it's dark and not as pretty. I forgot a step. I have tucked my elastic into the waistband, and Whitney just says to start sewing it. So, put that in. She says to have the presser foot against the elastic, and that will be my guide. Okay, let's do it. Well, it does seem to naturally want to stay up against the elastic, which is good. Okay, this is getting a little more interesting. Because of course the waistband has to fit around my hips. The elastic stretches. So I have all this extra material that I'm going to have to get around the elastic, and it's going to start bunching up. I know this. I know it will. Which will make it more interesting to sew. Made it around. I think now I'm going to trim off some of this fluff before attaching the waistband to the skirt. I have pinned my waistband to the skirt, figured out 4 quarter points, matched those up, then figured out the halfway point between that. I should be ready to put this through the machine. Forgot my pin cushion, but that's fine. We are bold. We are daring. We're gonna do this. Okay, I have gone around. It looks like a skirt. We are stitched together. Yay! It's a skirt. It's a wearable thing. To prevent fraying, I'm going to go around this one more time using a zigzag stitch. That should help keep this thing staying together. It is a skirt. It looks fabulous. I really like how the waistband looks on it. Whitney, I have to admit, you are fabulous. Now I do have this one lovely circle of material left over. Waste not, want not. I want pockets, so I am not going to waste this. Oh my gosh! I'm going to be able to get 2 pockets out of this. I decided to keep a little bit of extra material up at the top. I had it, why not use it? That'll make my pocket a little deeper. So I have my 2 pocket pieces, and then from the waistband material I have 2 pocket tops. And this is what they look like stitched together. This is the wrong side, this is the right side. So it'll have a nice pretty seam here. So now I'm going to fold under the top flap and stitch that down. Progress picture. This is now stitched down. What I'm going to do next is do the entire edge all the way around, stitch that down. You may notice that my pockets are no longer pointy, like how I had cut them out. No! For when I tried stitching the bottom, this cotton weave on the bias stretched. Oh, so it became all ripply and it was not pretty. But that's part of what I like about cosplay, costuming, sewing, crocheting, that you run into a problem and you have to fix it. It's not the end of the world. You just problem solve and come up with something. So I cut the bottoms off. Problem solved. Next step for these will be to turn down the top. So you'll still see the color of the waistband at the top of the pocket, but there won't be as much. And stitch these to the skirt. Sometimes hand stitching is really nice and relaxing. So that's what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to figure out where I want the pockets to go, pin them in place, and then hand sew them on. Well, that's it for today. Please do check out Whitney Sews' channel. She is amazing. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of my videos about costuming, crochet, and history bounding, click that subscribe button. Until next time, have fun and be creative.